He hit that Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise level of fame, and then just became this super chill, mellow guy that can just like go through crowds. That guy sits on the subway by himself. I mean, he's insanely wealthy. But when you see him, he's dressed like me. He's got like a regular watch on and sneakers. He's normal as man. It's real weird. Like he's figured out a way to avoid, like there he is right there on the subway, just chilling, you know, and he looks like a totally normal dude.
I look like fucking me.
Yeah, well, and people freak out. They're like, is that? No, can't be. Like people ignore him because he's figured out a way to just sort of
disappear
blend
in plain sight.
And then even if you talk to him, he's just normal. Like everybody that I know that's met him has said the dude's like totally, look at it. He lets his chick sit down, you know. He said, do you want to sit down? Go ahead. Boom. And he just stands up. Look at, I mean, even the way he's not, no bodyguard.
But what most people don't realize is that behind that gentle smile is a man who's endured more tragedy than most could survive. And the really heartbreaking part? Every time life gave Keanu a reason to smile, it took something away twice as hard. Let's start at the beginning, because Keanu's story of loss doesn't begin in his 20s or 30s. It starts when he's just 3 years old. His father, Samuel Nolan Reeves, abandoned the family when Keanu was a toddler. Samuel wasn't just absent, he completely disappeared from their lives. The last meaningful contact Keanu had with his father was at 13 years old. They sat together on a veranda in silence, staring at a dark sky. Then his father drove them to the airport and left. No goodbye, no explanation, just gone for another decade. But here's where it gets darker. While Keanu was building his acting career, working his way up from bit parts to leading roles, his father was serving time in prison. In 1992, Samuel was convicted of drug trafficking, heroin and cocaine specifically, and sentenced to 10 years. He served 2. When Samuel died in January 2018 from diabetes and complications from Graves' disease, his dying wish was to reconcile with Keanu. But that reconciliation never happened. Neither Keanu nor his sister Kim attended the funeral. Even in death, closure was denied.
What do you think happens when we die, Keanu Reeves?
I know that the ones who love us will miss us.
Think about that for a second. Your father abandons you at 3, becomes a drug dealer, goes to prison, and then dies hoping you'll forgive him? Most people would be destroyed by that kind of rejection. But Keanu, he just kept moving forward. And moving forward meant dealing with constant chaos. After his parents divorced in 1966, his mother Patricia moved the family around like they were running from something. Sydney, Australia, New York City, Toronto, 4 different cities before Keanu turned 10. His mother worked as a showgirl and costume designer, often working late nights, which meant Keanu and his sisters were raised by babysitters and grandparents. There was no stability, no anchor. School wasn't any better. Keanu is dyslexic, which made academics a nightmare. He attended 4 different high schools in 5 years and was eventually expelled from one. Imagine trying to make friends, trying to learn, trying to figure out who you are, all while your brain processes information differently and you're constantly being uprooted. Most kids would give up, but Keanu found acting, and for the first time in his life, he found something that made sense. Fast forward to 1988. Keanu's 23 years old and his career is starting to take off. He's landing roles, making a name for himself, and then he nearly dies. He's riding his motorcycle through Topanga Canyon when he fails to navigate a hairpin turn at 50 miles per hour.
So I think it was a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
So now, did the injury, what was it? What did you do to yourself?
Well, the one that I think that you're talking about is a,
Well, pick your favorite injury.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you...
Well, I've had some cool crashes. I have. I mean, they're cool because I'm here. Not there. You know what I mean? But, I don't know. This one, I crashed in Topanga Canyon on a demon ride.
Los Angeles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had...
You're on a motorcycle.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was on a motorcycle. I was in Topanga Canyon. I was going really fast, didn't know the road. And there was a hairpin turn. I hit the mountain. I had trauma, a couple of broken ribs, etc. And went to the hospital, and they took the blood out and then sewed up my spleen.
Sewed up your spleen?
Sewed up my spleen.
But even after almost dying, Keanu didn't stop riding motorcycles. In fact, he's had multiple crashes since. In another incident at Hollywood in Normandy, a car making a left turn slammed into him. A witness said they watched Keanu fly through the air in a somersault and thought he was dead. But he jumped up like nothing happened. In 1996, he broke his ankle so badly in a motorcycle crash that bone was visible and a car bumper was torn off. He needed surgery to remove bone fragments and spent days in the hospital. To this day, Keanu has a fake tooth, multiple scars, a plate in his neck, and broken ribs that never quite healed right. His body is a map of near-death experiences, but he still rides every single day. It's his preferred mode of transportation. Maybe it's the only place where he feels in control. Now here's where Keanu's story takes a turn that feels almost cruel. In 1991, his younger sister Kim was diagnosed with leukemia. She battled the disease for nearly a decade, and Keanu, he paused his career. He lived with her as her caretaker. He slept on hospital floors. He spent huge amounts of money privately funding her treatment. This wasn't just a brother checking in occasionally. This consumed a decade of his life. Think about what that does to a person. Watching someone you love fight for their life day after day, year after year, knowing there's nothing you can do except be there. And Keanu was there, always. But even while Kim was fighting leukemia, another tragedy hit. October 1993, Keanu's best friend, River Phoenix, died from a drug overdose outside the Viper Room in Hollywood. He was 23 years old.
Before he died, the pressure of making films that contributed to him plunging into drug and alcohol abuse.
Right.
Do you worry about that with all this pressure? You've made 16 movies in 29 years.
I don't really, I mean, pressure is a sensation that is caused by a force. Which kind of pressure? From where is it coming from? In the terms of 16 films, etc., I don't have that kind of pressure. I feel, you know, I want to be a better actor, and I want to give great performances, etc. And he was coming off films back to back, and then to go into another project, it takes, and especially for him, the way that he worked, phenomenal amount of energy and giving of your mind and heart. And I think he was probably in a place he's quite tired.
Sandra Bullock later described watching Keanu grieve River's death, saying she'd never seen anything like it. Keanu called River a really special person, original, unique, smart, talented, fiercely creative. This wasn't just losing a friend. This was losing someone who understood him in a way few people did. And here's the thing about Keanu. He doesn't talk about his pain publicly. He doesn't use it for sympathy or attention. He just carries it, quietly, privately, which makes what happened next even more devastating. December 24th, 1999, Christmas Eve. Keanu's girlfriend Jennifer Syme is 8 months pregnant with her daughter Ava Archer Syme Reeves. But something goes wrong. Ava is delivered stillborn on Christmas Eve. Their daughter, the future they'd been planning, gone in an instant. Both Keanu and Jennifer were absolutely devastated. They underwent grief counseling together. They tried to hold on, but the weight of losing a child is something most relationships can't survive. Weeks later, they broke up. But here's what most people don't know. Keanu and Jennifer stayed close. They remained friends. They still cared about each other deeply, which makes what happened 18 months later absolutely soul-crushing. April 1st, 2001, Keanu and Jennifer had brunch together in San Francisco. They talked, they laughed, it was a good day. The next morning, April 2nd, Jennifer got into her Jeep Cherokee and drove. Somewhere along the way, she lost control. Her car slammed into 3 parked vehicles. She was ejected from the car and died instantly. Keanu called the coroner's office. He asked if Jennifer Syme was there. He offered to identify her body. At the funeral, Keanu served as a pallbearer alongside Dave Navarro, Scott Coffey, and director David Lynch. He helped carry the casket of the woman he loved, the mother of a stillborn daughter. Jennifer and Ava are buried side by side at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery in Los Angeles.
Finally, one from me. You're turning 50 this year.
Oh, yes, I am.
How do you feel about growing older?
It's fantastic. Glad to be here.
You're not worried about aging or?
Of course, yeah. Aging means death. Yeah, I'm totally freaked out.
You don't seem it.
I am. But, you know, it's okay.
Let that sink in. In a span of 18 months, Keanu lost his daughter and the woman he loved, and he was at the absolute peak of his career. The Matrix had made him one of the biggest stars in the world. Everyone wanted a piece of him, and all he wanted was to disappear. And for about 15 years, he did. From 2000 to 2015, Keanu avoided relationships. He stayed intensely private. He lived mostly alone. Co-stars described him as distant but gentle, like he was keeping everyone at arm's length. In 2010, a photo of him sitting alone on a park bench eating a sandwich went viral as the sad Keanu meme. The internet laughed, but what they didn't realize is that they were looking at a man who'd been quietly carrying unimaginable grief for a decade.
There's a sort of mythology that surrounds you, that you're sad. That you know, there's this whole sad Keanu thing. You know, that you're someone who carries quite a lot of burdens around with you, and you know, but they don't then have the whole world discussing whether or not you're sad or not. I mean, we don't have to deal with that. And then suddenly everyone's talking about you.
It was good, clean fun.
You just see it as fun. It's just part of life.
I mean, in that kind of aspect, absolutely. I mean, it's you know, not quite harm. I mean, do I wish that I didn't get my picture taken and while I was eating a sandwich on the streets of New York? Yeah. You know,
because it strikes me that you're actually a very private person.
Yeah.
That you don't appreciate a lot of intrusion, and you live in a world where gossip and photographs and the internet discuss the details of your life of lots of people's lives all the time.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Hollywood even gave him a nickname during this period, the loneliest man in Hollywood. Think about the irony. He's one of the most famous actors in the world, surrounded by people constantly, and he's profoundly, deeply alone. In 2006, Keanu said something in an interview that explains everything about how he survived. Grief changes shape, but it never ends. People have a misconception that you can deal with it and say, it's gone and I'm better. They're wrong. That's not someone who's moved on. That's someone who's learned to carry the weight. And when Keanu read the script for John Wick years later, he immediately connected with the character's grief. He said, I love his grief, I relate to that, and I don't think you ever work through it. Keanu didn't have to act in those films, he just had to remember. But here's what's almost poetic about Keanu's story. Despite everything, he still rides motorcycles every single day. Despite nearly dying multiple times, despite losing his father, his best friend, his daughter, and the woman he loved, he still chooses the one thing that almost killed him as his preferred mode of transportation.
You know, when I worked on Little Buddha and got introduced to Buddhism, I'm not a Buddhist, but, you know, to start to think about in those ways and to think about impermanence and, you know, immortality and, you know, yeah, that definitely changed my life. So there have been instances in the work kind of informing my life.
Mm-hmm. Would you say acting is a profession where you definitely need to grow a thick skin in order to survive?
I think it helps, you know, since we're talking about Buddhism, suffering. Yeah, a little, if you can't, you know, meditate, then maybe a thick skin would be good.
Mm-hmm. What would you say is the biggest misconception people have about Keanu Reeves?
That I'm sad all the time.
And through all of this, Keanu never stopped working. He never became bitter. He never complained. He just showed up, did his job, and treated everyone around him with kindness. Crew members talk about how he remembers their names, asks about their families, makes sure they're taken care of.
I will say, you doing the movie, keeping going after you hurt your knee, that's pretty angelic behavior. It's guarding me, guarding my directing career for sure.
That's true. I didn't give up. I didn't give up.
I
came to the set.
Could have easily been like, hey man, I'm out, see ya.
We're almost done with the filming of the fight. We were working out one day, just a very casual workout in the gym, and Keanu had come up to me and said, well, you know, I just want to tell you, I think our 12 doubles, our stunt guys did a great job, and I just, really weird, but I feel like, you know, I'd really like to give them something. I'd like to give them bikes. I was like, well, you know, mountain bikes or something, that's more than generous. He's like, no, I'd like to give them motorcycles. And in front of most of the crew, big Bartels trailer pulled up in the naval base we were at. And one by one, they unloaded 12 brand new Harleys and gave them each to the stunt guys.
That's not something someone does for publicity. That's something someone does when they understand that money doesn't fix grief. Connection does. Kindness does. Making other people's lives a little bit easier does. When a flight from San Francisco to Burbank was forced into an emergency landing in Bakersfield, Keanu Reeves didn't just grab his bags and vanish like most would. Instead, he helped organize a van for the stranded passengers and even rode along, swapping fun facts about California and keeping spirits high. Only Keanu could turn a travel nightmare into a road trip you'd brag about forever.
Yeah. The people who can unload the bag won't be here for 3 hours. But the vans will be here in an hour. So if you want to hit the road and then deal with your bags later, or deal with customer service and get it delivered, maybe. If you want to.
Its population is around 380,000. Wow. Making it the 9th most populous city in California and the 52nd most populous city in the nation. Journalism.
Today, Keanu's in his 60s. He's finally in a long-term relationship with Alexandra Grant and recently married. This is someone who seems to genuinely understand and respect his need for privacy. He's still acting, still riding motorcycles, still showing up to work every day with that same quiet intensity. That's the real story of Keanu Reeves. Not the action star, not the internet boyfriend, but a man who survived more loss than most people could imagine. And instead of letting it destroy him, he used it to become more human, more compassionate, more present.